now, once again, Raymond Arroyo.
Welcome back to The World Over. Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton continue to battle it out for votes in this presidential race. The polls are said to be closing, but are they? And where is that all-important Catholic vote headed? To discuss it all, I'm joined now by political commentator, former Clinton advisor, and author of the New York Times best-selling book, 7 Weeks on the Bestseller List, Armageddon. Would you welcome Dick Morris?
Good to see you.
Great to see you,
but
Dick.
Don't forget my subtitle, which is my favorite, How Trump Can Beat Hillary.
Well, let's get to that and see if we're going there. Trump seems to be emerging in a way, I guess the way you counseled Bill Clinton in 1996. You said he should triangulate. Tell people what that means, and is Trump actually doing that by running against both parties?
Yes. Absolutely. The idea of triangulation, which I brought to the White House, was that instead of a sterile debate of the left against the right, take the best from each party, get rid of the worst, and join at a third place. So from the left, hire additional, have gun control, have handgun waiting periods, and from the right, have extra cops and extra sentences, and then combine them in an anti-crime program. And I think in Trump's case, I use a different metaphor in my book, but it's the same thought. Republicans always fight with one hand, the right jab, immigration, trade, social issues, taxes. Now we need to do that, but also throw the left hook and get the Bernie Sanders voters in by speaking about income inequality, the power of the banks, the need to have school choice, and go after votes we don't normally go after with an agenda that, the wonderful phrase I love to use from the White House days is, use your tools to fix their car.
Oh, we'll see if Hillary Clinton or Trump are able to do that. On Wednesday night, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump were asked to make their case for the position of commander-in-chief and defend their positions. Hillary Clinton had this to say when asked about her support for the war in Iraq.
I have said that my voting to give President Bush that authority was, from my perspective, my mistake. Now, my opponent was for the war in Iraq. He says he wasn't. You can go back and look at the record. He supported it.
I happened to hear Hillary Clinton say that I was not against the war in Iraq. I was totally against the war in Iraq. You can look at Esquire magazine from '04. You can look at before that. And I was against the war in Iraq because I said it's going to totally destabilize the Middle East, which it has.
Now, Trump says he was against the war in Iraq, but we have been hearing for days now that Howard Stern interview from September 11th, 2002, where he says very clearly, are you for invading Iraq? And Donald Trump says, yeah, I guess so. I wish the first time it was done correctly. Does this matter?
Well, no, I don't think so. I think everybody understands that Hillary was in the Senate. Her support for the war in Iraq was a pivotal factor in letting it happen. And Donald Trump was a private businessman mouthing off on the Howard Stern show, for God's sakes. That it's not for the benefit of your Christian audience. That's not a Christian show.
Right, but why keep mentioning it? Well, why keep mentioning it if he clearly supported it?
Well, he didn't support it. He opposed it like crazy when it was in play in '03 and '04, which was the major period. He was against it. But the reason for raising it is that Hillary, at the start of this debate, said, "This debate what qualifications should someone have to be president?" And she said, "Judgment and maturity and temperament and listening and empathy." And then she proceeded not to demonstrate any of that. And I think that when Lauer said, okay, judgment, you had the email fight and you voted for the war, where's that judgment?
We're going to get to that in a moment. I want to play this first. Hillary Clinton was asked at one point about the use of ground troops, and here's what she had to say, using ground troops in Iraq, in Syria. Watch.
We are not putting ground troops into Iraq ever again, and we're not putting ground troops into Syria.
She's taken a lot of criticism for that.
Yeah.
Valid?
Well, she's entitled to her position, but the fact is that she supported the war in Iraq. She was personally responsible for the war in Libya. I don't know if you're going to play that sound clip where she said, we didn't lose a single American in Libya. Well, how about Chris Stevens and the 3 guards in Benghazi? Those were Americans. They died in Libya. And she also advocated a no-fly zone in Syria. But I want to talk more politics than substance. The important thing about this campaign right now is that both Trump and Hillary have very high negatives. So it's a very volatile race. But Trump stemmed from what he has said and how he's acted. Hillary stemmed from what she's done, the email thing, Benghazi, and the conflicts of interest, the foundation. And it's easier to reverse what you said to clean up your act, as Trump has been doing, than to roll back stuff you've done. And Hillary, I think, has fallen into a trap, an easy labor-saving device, which is she's built a campaign of expletives against Trump, calling him everything in the world, racist, sexist, bombastic, a demagogue, a buffoon, a dangerous, unstable, unpredictable, a whole range of things. And then Donald Trump walks onto the set and you see him. And he's not any of those things. He's a perfectly reasonable guy who has some interesting ideas that are not out there in the political process and may make some sense. And all of a sudden, Hillary's adjectives don't work. Remember that historically, Barry Goldwater was painted that way by Johnson and lost. And McGovern was painted that way by Nixon and lost.
Right.
When Carter tried to do it to Reagan, he couldn't. Why not? Because Reagan had primetime TV debates and the other two didn't. People had a chance to watch him for 3.5
Reagan was
or 4
also
hours.
avuncular and an actor. And Donald Trump, let's face it, there are times where he comes across with that bluster and seems to confirm what Hillary Clinton's
Not
saying.
lately. Not in the last 3 weeks.
I want to play this. This is an important moment. Hillary Clinton was asked once again about her emails and the use of that private server for handling classified information. Watch.
Classified material has a header which says top secret, secret, confidential. Nothing. And I will repeat this, and this is verified in the report by the Department of Justice. None of the emails sent or received by me had such a header.
How detrimental is this to Hillary Clinton?
Very. And first of all, that is the first time she's ever said that. Never said it before. And secondly, it's disingenuous. The FBI said that there were 110 emails that were classified that passed through her private server. And then in retrospect, 2,000 that should have been classified. And she's saying that, oh, it always says classified on it. Well, the clerk, the low-ranking officer who said that, for him, yeah, it's classified. It's not his decision to make. But the Secretary of State is the one who decides if it's classified or not. And the FBI report said that it is beyond the realm of possibility that somebody as high up as Hillary Clinton and Secretary of State would not know what was classified and would not know that this material should not be discussed.
Don't you think the American voter, though, has factored all of this in, Dick Morris? And they now say, you know, the FBI cleared her. It's old history, and people just keep trying to revive this. No. That's at least what you hear from the Clinton campaign.
Yeah,
this is over.
Well, they're always saying it's over, but it's not in the least bit over. First of all, there are still a lot of emails that she deleted, that she refused to turn over, that are yet to come out. Secondly, with every new email comes new evidence of the pay for play. That literally a majority of the people who had appointments with Hillary Clinton were donors to the foundation. It's like they set out with a cash register and ka-ching, the secretary will see you now.
Now, you claim in the new book that Armageddon, that Donald Trump could win this thing. Now, just to play devil's advocate, in 2012 you said Mitt Romney was going to win by a landslide. In 2008 you said Hillary Clinton would face Condoleezza Rice. Why should people believe you now?
Well, because in 2008, I accurately predicted that Obama would win. In 2010, I was one of the only people in America who said the Republicans would win more than 60 seats in the House. In 2012, while I got the presidential race wrong, in 2014, I predicted exactly the Senate outcomes that we had. And the problem in 12 was there was a hurricane at the end that totally changed the electoral landscape and led to not only my being wrong, but Gallup, Rasmussen, CNN, and all of the major polling firms.
Yeah.
Because nobody was able to take into account the last-minute move to Obama when he was shown so brilliantly touring the Sandy battlefield.
I've got to get into these polls before we run out of time. I want to put up the Catholic vote. And there's been a recent Public Opinion Research Institute poll. It tells us this, that Clinton is securing 55% of the Catholic vote, Trump 32%.
Well, that's Latinos.
No, that's overall.
Yeah, but
that's overall. So to what do
Catholic-
you attribute that, and how does he win them back?
A third of the Catholic vote is Latino in the United States. If you just took non-Latino white Catholics, Trump would actually be winning by a significant margin. The separate issue is not how do you address Catholics. He's doing fine. The issue is Latinos. And there I think you have to draw a distinction between the third of all Latinos who are voters, or quarter, who are themselves immigrants. To them, immigration is the issue, and Trump's position is anathema, and he'll never win them. But 3/4 of the Latino vote was born here. They're American citizens, natural citizens. Guys with Latino surnames like Arroyo.
Yeah, well,
And
I know a few.
And for them, in the polling, the most important issue is jobs and education and healthcare, followed by immigration. And I think Trump has a marvelous ability to win those voters.
In your book, you lay out a strategy, and I want to end with this, on how Trump can win, how Hillary can win. But you say the strategy for Trump, the pathway, is win Virginia and then win a few of the toss-up states. When you look at in fact, Politico just came out with a battleground average of states. When you look at this, Colorado, which is one of the states you identify as a toss-up, Hillary Clinton's up 10. When you look at New Hampshire, Hillary Clinton's up 7. When you look at Virginia, she's up 11. When you look at Pennsylvania, she's up 10. How can he possibly win losing these states or coming in here?
First of all, the Politico story was based on polling data from August 1st to September 5th. Huge window. The beginning of that window, Hillary was winning from her post-convention bounce. By the end of that window, she was sucking air because of the email scandal and the pay-for-play. A more recent poll in Virginia has Hillary ahead by 2.
Within the margin of error.
Yeah, within the margin. But I think that before we get to the state-by-state analysis, which I think is premature at this point, the real question is, when people see Donald Trump and learn that he is not a scary monster and we have to run screaming if he's elected, and then what is the argument left for Hillary? She hasn't posed any other. And she has yet to sit down and decide on a message. Is she going to continue Obama's economic policies or fundamentally change them? Is she going to continue to fight ISIS the way he is or fundamentally change it? Is she going to continue with Obamacare as it falls apart or fundamentally change it? Is she running as an insurgent or as a continuation of Obama? Is she a change agent or a status quo agent? She won't resolve that. And I think that Hillary has no message. And she fell into a trap of vilifying Trump, and that became her message.
Dick Morris, thanks for the analysis. The book is Armageddon, How Trump Can Beat Hillary Clinton. It's available now at bookstores everywhere and online at dickmorris.com.